Okay, hi everyone. So this week what we're doing is we're talking about the late Roman period and then into the Byzantine world. So if you remember last week when we ended, I was talking about Constantinople and how we have in Italy here, we have Constantine who becomes ruler of all of the whole Roman Empire, and he takes the capital of the Roman Empire and he moves it from Rome to Constantinople, naming it for himself. It had been named Byzantium. He changes the name to Constantinople. Later, we'll see that the Ottoman Turks come in and they take over the city, and the name gets changed once again to Istanbul, which is what it presently is called today. Okay, so we have what happens is when the capital gets moved to Constantinople, and if you remember, we were already coming toward the end of the Roman Empire. They were losing ground for a long time before Constantine took over. So eventually what happens is we more or less have the empire divided pretty much down the middle. And we have what had been the western side of the empire, the Roman Empire. They're invaded by the Visigoths and all of these other people. They keep getting invaded by outsiders. And this part of the empire falls. The eastern part of the empire continues on, but what happens is after we have the conversion of the empire to be Christian, we make a distinction with the continuation of the Roman Empire. And so after the conversion by Constantine to Christianity, we really then term it the Byzantine Empire. Now, we have one great leader that's really associated with the Byzantine Empire, and this is Justinian. So I have a little bit of information up here about Justinian here. So we have the Byzantine Empire at Justinian's, when he comes to power in 527. So when he comes to power, he is in charge and in control of what's left of the Roman world, which is now called the Byzantine world because they are Catholic now. And this is this area located in pink. But he is a great, great ruler, and he expands the empire, he expands the territory, and his goal really is to try to take back over what had been the Roman Empire. So he manages to take part of it back, and see you have the territories added by the time of Justinian's death in 565. You have this kind of grayish purple area. So he really does accomplish quite a bit here that is taken over. And then we sort of have more, again, loss of territory, along the northern coast of Africa, the southern part of Spain, part of Italy that had been regained by Justinian. That's completely lost. And then in addition to that, the rest of the northern part here of Africa, all of this territory also gets lost. And so we have the Byzantine Empire in 1025 shown here in the green. So there's a little bit of it in Italy here, not much, a little bit, but down into what is Greece today, this is Athens, and into this area as well, which you can see is like Turkey, Libya, in that area. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of architecture. This is mainly what we're looking at this week is architecture from the Byzantine Empire. But before I switch the slide, I want to point out, the first thing I'm showing you is actually early Christian art. And we have Rome, that is the capital of, or the headquarters today of the Catholic religion, the Roman Catholic religion, right? This is where the Pope lives. This is supposed to be like the head of the church. And so if you meet people, myself included, I was raised Roman Catholic. I'm not a very religious person, but I'm supposed to believe and follow what the Pope says. So I'm the continuation of the Western side here, the Roman empire that is converted and then it ends up falling, and it gets encompassed into what becomes known as the Holy Roman Empire. The eastern part here, as I just said, is the Byzantine world. They become known as the Orthodox Empire, and they do not follow what the Pope says. They have elected officials that are placed in charge of the church. And there's some other divisions between the two religions. They actually follow different calendars and stuff, but not so different in the belief systems of the idea of Jesus and resurrection and all of this kind of stuff. It's pretty much the same between the two parts of this faith. So I want to point out to you here in northern Italy, the town of Ravenna, because Ravenna in the Byzantine world becomes more important than Rome. Ravenna will begin to see some really beautiful pieces of art that are coming out of Ravenna, and then later on also in Venice. And Justinian is able to recapture this area, and he makes the capital, Ravenna, be the capital of the western side of the empire. So now that you have that explained to you, this is technically a piece of Catholic art, but it relates so much to the Byzantine art that I'm going to be showing you. I want to include it into this. So this is in that area I pointed out to you, Ravenna, Italy. And we're dating this to circa 425 to 426. And this is early images that are shown here of like biblical images. And I have a video up on Blackboard for you to watch on this. And it's really well done. It zooms in on these images. But these are all made out of mosaics, and we're going to see a lot of mosaics. So a mosaic is a piece of glass that has been painted on the back or has gold leaf on the back and then is placed against the wall. And in this case, it's placed at a very slight angle so that it catches the light. And they're quite beautiful when you see them in person. So I need to stop here because I'm running out of battery.